Okay, I'm at 110 Van Buren Street in Dayton, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. And we're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that would be concerning to the buyer. This has a carriage house in the rear, and this is where we're going to start. So the first access location, this will be done in two sections. I'll see if I can, I may just do two separate videos with this and just have two separate links, just to make it easier, because I'll have to do the carriage house first, and then it'll go over into the main house, and then that sewer is hung and is visible from the basement, and then we'll go through an access in that in the main house, and then from there out to the street. So it's probably going to be easier to do it in two separate videos. That way, if I need to reference any footages or anything like that, it'll make it easier. But at any rate, we're looking for, like I said, any structural issues, so or anything concerning to the buyer. And so as we go, try to explain anything that we see here. The first access, though, we are in the carriage house. You can see there's the man door right there, and here is the inside the garage there. So we have a man door there, and a man door there. All this should be tied together. You see that short stack there? That should all come straight down into this main line as it heads towards the main house here. Now, the bad part is this is all dry. There's no water going through here. And so this will definitely need to be cleaned out. You can see how much debris is down in this line. It doesn't look horrible, but this will definitely need to be flushed out. And that could just be that we're not past, that there hasn't been any, the line hasn't been used. You can see just how dry it is. Looking for where the tie-ins are, because right when we go in, pretty much you should see tie-ins through here. I just didn't see one, so there's one coming from the left there. So just trying to get a look at it, but because there's been no active use on this line, you can see it's just a bunch of dry debris, and so the line will have to be flow tested to make sure it looks good structurally so far, but looks like it's probably like 4 to 5 inch clay. There's a small amount of old root intrusion, but it didn't look active. I'm sure there hasn't been water in this line for quite some time. But we should be able to tell when we get into the main house. I believe it was all PVC that's hung once you get through the wall. Some chunks here. If we see anything on the way back, that looks like, I'm not even sure what that is. A little piece of construction debris or something. You can see the overall buildup. I'm sure this is all a combined line, so you're going to have some storm stuff coming through here, but I'm not sure what is still hooked up. Didn't look to see if there was any drainage or anything. There's no floor drains or anything in this garage, so they may have had old downspouts that are disconnected. As we come back into cast iron, there's a tie-in to the left. I don't know if this is like a foam or a plastic. It almost looks like porcelain. Maybe an old toilet or something that was sitting here. It does look like there's a toilet flange about 3 feet from this clean out that maybe an old damaged toilet, because it looks like old white porcelain from an old toilet or something.
It does look like everything, the line is holding shape pretty well. Haven't seen any structural issues. It's just really full of debris. So we're not able to see the bottom of the pipe too well, but so I thought that this came through the wall, but this may actually go straight in. And what we saw hanging is a completely elevated line until it gets all the way out to the front of the house to where it ties in. See, this is really hard to tell. It looks like it's intact. There on the top, you see flakes of rust coming off of it. Now it looks like we're coming into part of the line that has been used. Looks like a tie in there from the left, and then looks like we're lying into that PVC. I would like it if I was able to run some water back here to be able to run water all the way out to the street, but there's no way of doing that. Nothing hooked up in the carriage house, but at the very least, the line's gonna need to be flushed. The worst part about that is having a dry line like that with all that debris and having it jetted. You don't want to use anything too high pressure just in case there's weak spots in the cast iron that can't be seen. See all the buildup and stuff in the cast iron. It looks like it's holding shape really well. I haven't seen any spots that look too rough overall, but obviously just a ton of debris. And then we've made it out to the to the clay again. And this all looks wide open. May have to make a move to check it out. Here is a bunch of roots, so I may be able to get out, but I think I'm probably gonna have to make a move. I may go locate this just to see how far out I am overall. But because with all this debris in the line, it's pretty hard to see. See tie-ins where things come in off of the tie-ins. To the end of my rope here. As far as I don't have much camera left here. So I'm gonna pause the video real quick and go see about how far out I am. We'll compare that to the next spot. We'll be overlapping, but I'm gonna have to make a move to the interior of the main house. Move to another access point to be able to inspect the remainder. So I'm going to pause the video to check to see where we are. Okay, I'm out of out of camera here, and the problem is I'm only about 8 feet from the main, but we'll still pull back and we'll go through I'm out in the street, but we'll still pull back, make a move to the main house, and then go from there for better reference. But again, the line looked good structurally. It's just the majority of the stuff coming from the carriage house, it is intact, but with all the debris buildup in the line, you can't see the bottom of it. It looked good, structurally in the overall. I didn't see any damage or any obvious structural issues. Not really any root intrusion until we got out here, which would be in front of the main house, so we'll see that on the next video. But as we pull back, we'll take another look at everything. Again, it's just really full of debris. I'm not sure how long the house has been empty, but I'm assuming it's been quite a while based off of this. So this 127-foot mark on the for those roots, we'll have it. We'll be able to better reference that off the main house. But they had said that they ran the water overnight or something like that, and I'm sure the water made it out. It's just a need to definitely clean this line out. Jetting would probably be the best option to try to flush out all this stuff. But again, you just want to make sure that you're not going to put a hole through the side of the pipe there. But it all looks pretty good. You can see here's that section that they replaced. This is a Y in the basement floor towards the front of the house. Stuff coming from the main house comes across from hung sewer and PVC. Right around in here is where it all comes together, as you can see. And then all this was abandoned in the past. And so that's where I would, you want to clean this out and possibly do a reinspection when this is jetted, just to be sure. Because like I said, this stuff, it looks like it's in good shape. It looks like it's structurally sound, but we can't see what's underneath all this debris. And so, pretty much the first 100 feet from here is just chock full of debris, and this could all come from storm. It's coming from the interior of the cast iron, the rust. You can tell it's still holding shape pretty well. If you don't see any signs of big holes or anything like that. But it's very hard to tell with cast iron. You can't tell how thin or thick the pipe walls are. But you can see, there's places where it's, half the interior diameter. See, and it's really hard to see because now we're back in clay, so we're outside. This is in between the carriage house and the main house. Both of these videos will say 110 Van Buren, but I'm going to probably mark it as 1 of 2 and 2 of 2, or A or B, something like that. I may just label it carriage house and main house, something like that, but it will be basically labeled separately, and that way we need to reference it. But mainly, it really looks like It's like the line is in one piece. Just, like I've reiterated multiple times, it needs to be flushed out to get all this debris out before you try to use it. Good news is we made it all the way through the main house, and the fact that it was abandoned earlier kind of makes me wonder, but it is just really full of debris, so maybe because it was full of debris it was backing up or something, or maybe somebody put new plumbing in and didn't feel like messing with tying it in, and ran it all the way across the front and hung it. But again, going from this clean out in the carriage house, I didn't see any structural issues. You'll need to get it flushed. I can't see, obviously, you can't see the bottom of the pipe because of lack of use for so long, and no way of running water in the carriage house to see any kind of functionality. But yeah, I'd say roughly 100 feet of pipe in between this clean out and where we're going to make our next access at. The line looks good structurally, just needs to be cleaned and probably re-cambered after the line's been flushed, just to check out the bottom of the pipe and make sure that it is all intact. I don't have any feelings. I don't think that there's anything down there. It's holding everything well, but obviously you don't know if you can't see it. And so we're going to make a move to the main house here and finish up the inspection from there. But as far as 110 Van Buren Street carriage house, that's the end of the inspection.